Okay, thanks everyone for being here. Again, next week, same time, 2:30. Network is FS1, and then Monday, well, we already know our game for 2 weeks, so we won't get any news on that on Monday. But let me know on your player request tomorrow morning, and we'll get to right away, Coach.
Thank you. We should have the 2:30 routine now by now.
Yep.
Practice on that. So, just a couple words. Certainly first and foremost, just pleased to get the victory today. And in this kind of game, we expected. New Kent State was a good football team. They're really competitive. I think they've done a really nice job. Coach Lewis and his staff done a really nice job there. And we knew they'd come in and compete hard, and they weren't going to be taking a backseat to anything or anybody. So happy to get the win, and I think it's going to be a good experience for our team because there are a lot of things to highlight that we still have to get better at. And that's the process. That's the race that we run, all week long. But I think overall we had a pretty good week at practice. Thought the effort today was, our guys are ready to go and they played hard. And there are a lot of good responses out there. There's some things that didn't go so well, so happy with the responses. Then, as far as areas of improvement, really obvious, the penalties hurt us today. And, there's no great explanation for that other than concentration or just, being out of position. So either way, that's something we have to do a better job of. And they're always inopportune, and we had a couple today that really hurt us, especially that one drive opening the second half there. 2 major penalties, so that's not a good thing. Defensively, we try to pride ourselves and try to, weekly do a good job against big plays, defending big plays. I think most defensive teams do that, and we weren't real successful doing that today at times. And then special teams, we're overall pretty good, I guess. And Torrey did a nice job, especially at last punt, but we missed a couple opportunities too. So even there, it was kind of indicative of maybe some of the challenges that we were facing there. But, the bottom line is that came here to get the win. That's the best you can do week to week. We're just trying to win the games in front of us and got that done. Thought there's some good efforts. Good to see Goodson get going here a little bit and get him on track. And hopefully we'll see some growth, I think, up front on both lines. So hopefully we'll see that when we look at the film. But my sense is that's probably the case. And, we're just going to keep pushing forward, but happy to get the win. And if you want to open up and ask me about replays, I'll be happy to talk about that. But I'll let you tee it up for me.
What was the explanation you got on Tyrone's drop pass?
Yeah, so obviously they ruled it as a non-possession or a drop, I guess. And I was tempted to challenge a replay, but that would really be stupid. And I don't want to be so blatantly obvious that I am hard-headed or whatever. But that was one concern, and I haven't seen the replay, so I can't comment on it. My bigger concern is the mechanics of it, and I felt bad for the officiating crew because that's a good crew. They worked a good game today, and they look like fools out there because they're at the mercy of whatever decisions get made upstairs. To me, the bigger point of contention is that they had to adjust the chains, right? The chains got messed up, so they stopped play. Another delay in the game, which, we already got about 12 of these 4-minute breaks for commercials. Now you got a delay there. And then they challenged it. They got buzzed after the chains finally got straightened out. And I know we've got a rule on the length of a delay now, or a review. So for good reason. If you can't make up your mind, then it's a moot point. But I guess we got to get a rule now about, is there a limit on how long the guy upstairs can decide before they decide to replay it or review it? Better get my vernacular correct. But anyway, it's a little frustrating, to say the least, and, hopefully this gets cleaned up during the road. And I'm sorry, but I'll add one thing. In my opinion, my humble opinion, the people on the field should be in charge because they're the ones that look like fools, and they have nothing to do with this. So, anyway. That's how they call that guy the referee, right? He's the referee. He's a head guy. He's responsible. So, anyway. College football. Gotcha.
I'm looking at the statistics, Coach. First, congratulations on the win. You got perfect balance between rushing and passing today. 206 rushing yards, 212 passing yards. It's almost exactly identical. You have to be happy about that. I think your offense played pretty good.
We were, yeah. I mean, we still have a lot of things to work on. Our execution's not where it needs to be yet, and that's going to be a weekly process. There was one point, it was 324, I jotted it down, 324 to 233 yardage-wise, and it really felt like it was the other way, and part of that's just the way they play. They're tough to defend. But, yeah, there were some good things going on kind of subtly, and good to get Tower run the ball a little bit better, and hopefully we'll be able to improve on that weekly. But and it's a 4-quarter game too, so we got some yards in that fourth quarter too. But it's I was pleased about that. But there's still things we're leaving out there.
You mentioned line play and defensive line. When you look at 7 sacks plus all the holding calls they had on them, that I would think would be a positive. But a kid like Lucas Van Ness, who really has a chance to show himself, had some great moments. How important is a game like this in his development?
It's every snap is important, especially for these younger guys. That's what I've been trying to say the last 2 weeks on both sides of the ball. We got a lot of guys that haven't played much, and Lucas is one of those guys. And he works hard. I mean, we've liked him. He works hard in practice, and you like what you see. There wasn't room for him last year. I mean, we didn't have openings for him to get involved, but all those guys, he's doing a good job. Deontay Craig, Wyatt Black got his hands on a ball. So that second-year group of guys, and really Logan Lee, in my opinion, is in that group. I think he's a year older, chronologically, but he's missed so much time. So we got a lot of guys that haven't played, and then just to see those guys keeping pace. Not that John Wagner's a veteran, but he's been here longer. Noah's been here longer, and certainly Joe's been here a little bit longer. So I think that's encouraging, really encouraging, and. I felt like we'd match up against their guys. They're well coached. They're guys up front, but until you get on the field, you're never quite sure. And our guys, it's a credit to them. They were working hard out there.
A lot of 95-yard drive. 20 yards, 95 yards. How important was that, not just for the result of this game today, but for the progress of your offense and kind of building confidence, knowing that that's something they can accomplish backed up like that?
I mean, driving the ball is important, and especially when you're backed up. And we've had a few of those over the years. It really helps build confidence, and it's kind of illustrative in a lot of ways of what it takes to be a good offense. Is just concentrating play after play, not worrying about trying to make the big play. And I think sometimes I get the feeling standing there we're trying to force things a little bit too much sometimes, and that's you want a player to try to do his best, but just let things kind of play out. And it's the same way on defense. So. That was really good, and we made some tough plays during that possession as well. Even Sam's touchdown catch was that wasn't a big window right there, but we got the ball in there. He made the catch, and so it was really good. And those are the kinds of things that will help build a team if we take advantage of it. They're going to see the kind of execution we had there versus some of the other possessions, and hopefully that's how you learn.
You had a lot of non-starters on both sides of the ball make impactful plays today. Quality depth is not a constant. Why is it so good right now at this point in time?
Probably, I mean, part of it is we got so many guys that probably shouldn't be on the second team, but we're on the second team. We're a pretty young football team. I'll go back to that first day of spring ball where it was like 70 hands that had never gone through a spring practice. And it just dawned on me walking out that day. It wasn't like I'd been thinking about it, but I was behind a couple of young guys, and I'm thinking, geez, didn't have spring ball a year ago, and then so how many guys? And we got a lot of young guys on our football team, but we've liked what we've seen. I've said that since January. We've really liked how they work, all the things they do, but that's not football. So you get 15 win days in the spring, but they're trying, and that's one of the reasons I'm optimistic right now. I know we can get a lot better, but we need to, and that's where there's not a lot of time for fooling around right now. We need to be doing it every day. I think we can still learn how to practice better. It's not like we had a bad week, but we're not at that level you need to be at to really be clicking.
Tyler Goodson really anchored your offense today. How much do you contribute that to the improvement on the offensive line and just Goodson as a player?
Yeah, the one we hit around the left end. I mean, with all due respect to Tower, but that, but that is a play that we want him in the backfield for that play because it kind of plays to his deal. And but right from the start of the game, it was pretty apparent. Coach Lewis was on Wisconsin's team back in the early 2000s, and they played the same front Wisconsin opened up with against us in 2002, and it was designed to stop the run, try to slow things down. So. That first play was just a matter of them, over pursuing. We, stuck it out to the right and then pitched it to him on the left. But they made it tough, and so to Tower's point, Tower's credit, he did a good job running. Good to get him on track, and hopefully we can keep building off that.
Kent State came in to the game as like the bottom 15 team in the country in rushing defense. Is that something that you had targeted maybe from Monday, coming in?
Yeah, they're I don't know if unconventional, unorthodox. Some of the things they do up front, and this is like 3 straight weeks where we're as you're preparing, it's a little bit of a tough challenge. And so that was difficult. And, it just with a little bit more seasoned group up front, you feel a little bit better about things. But, we're learning every day up front. And I'm pleased with the way the guys are, their attitude and the way they're going about it. But we're just learning every day. So if there's anything good about this, it's 3 different kind of preparations we've had. Hopefully we'll benefit from that as we go along. And, one of these days we'll see some things that we're more accustomed to seeing on a routine basis, maybe.
What did you think of Spencer's performance today? I mean, early on it was kind of disjointed, but then once he got going on that long drive, he was hitting a lot of check downs, but then it was like 17 to 22 over the last, I think, 3 quarters.
Yeah, I think he settled down, played pretty well. And the first stat that caught my eye was, right there with the interception stuff. So we had, the balls on the ground, but he's done a good job, making good judgments as far as that goes. There are a couple throws, I'm sure he would tell you the same thing, that, you got to make that throw. And that's the next step. But that'll come. That'll come. I think maybe he's pressing a little too hard at times. That's just my unprofessional opinion, because I'm certainly not an expert on quarterbacks, but I think sometimes he might be trying a little too hard. That touchdown pass was pretty good. That looked pretty good. That was a tight little spot.
You're really not an expert on quarterbacks?
No. I just know how they make me feel. Expert on that. That's about the extent of it. Some make me really feel good, and other ones scare the heck out of me.
How much confidence does it give you in your defense when maybe the secondary's having a little bit of an off day and your front can pick them up with forcing a fumble on the one or a safety in situations like that?
Yeah, I mean, both those were good plays, and historically, we've done a good job at it. You'd rather the ball not be down inside the 5, but we've had a lot of good illustrations over 22 plus years where, somehow, some way we force a field goal or we get the ball back, and even, 4-down situations. So that part's really, that's something we just try to emphasize to our guys. Like, you never give up. You just keep playing, and maybe something good will happen. Today it did. But then the flip side is, you don't want to be down there. My high school coach, we didn't have a goal line defense because he said, if the ball's down there, you guys stink, and that's the way it goes. So, you want to try to avoid those situations. But it was good for us to, they had a long drive there, so at least we bowed up and made something positive out of it. But that's where the focus will be tomorrow, is on those plays that got them down there. 2 penalties on that drive, and you got to clean those up, because we're not going to, you get in a real tight game, it's just not going to cut it for you.
Ivory's had a long couple of years. He came back. He can do some nice things with the offense, but obviously he's had some ball security issues. I mean, what do you kind of say to him? What's kind of your thinking about his usage going forward?
Keep his chin up, and just got done telling him that, and just, hang in there. You're going to be fine, because he's a top quality guy. I think you guys probably noticed he got voted as a captain this week. So, that's his teammates voting him in, not the coaches, but we all co-sign that one. He does so much for our team beyond running the football, and he's a good running back, a very talented running back. He's made a lot of really good plays for us, and he's just got to work through it. He's got to work through it, and he will. He's a high caliber guy.
Going back to the safety, going back to the safety, obviously it's a bit of an unforced error there on the snap, but Jack Campbell was talking about how when the offensive players look up, you guys want them to see 11 guys in their face causing problems, and that's basically what the quarterback saw when he turned around the goal line. Do you feel like that's kind of defining, that's what this defense has been doing all season, a play like that, where one error and it's a major problem?
Love to clean up the things that didn't go so well today, but yeah, again, just go back to what I said first and foremost. Pleased with the effort and the mentality of our guys. I think they're really trying, and they care about each other, and they take pride in that, and so it's a good place to start. Now we got to get some other things cleaned up a little bit more.
Was Gavin's involvement a product of Ivory's?
Yeah. Just at that point, you just felt like, hey, let's give Ivory a break and just make sure he can regroup. And for me, that was one of the positives in the game. Not Ivory's challenges, but I thought Gavin did a really nice job. He made a tough run out there, and that's we've watched him in practice, and we've watched LaShawn too, and feel pretty good about him. But when it's time to get a guy in a game, and things are kind of tight, you're always a little bit reluctant. But this experience today and what he did, I think, is really going to help him move forward, and certainly has gained us. Our confidence in him grows when we see him play like that. He did a good job.
You had to go through 2 pretty highly emotional games, along with just being 2 tough teams right off the bat, and you played Kent State. What do you think about the team how it prepared mentally and how it performed mentally? Was it at that same level that you saw the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, I think, maybe the detail part wasn't as good, and the penalties to me reflect that. I guess that'd be the first thing I'd point to. But then Connor, Peters took care of the ball. So, but it's, I guess the whole thing to me is everything in a season is part of a learning experience or a learning opportunity. And we played 2 games right off the bat against ranked teams, veteran teams, et cetera. Now you got a team that's pretty experienced, and especially where it counts at quarterback position, they're skilled guys. So it's a different challenge, but now everybody expects you to win, right? The first 2 games, it's like a jump ball at best. That's if I'm talking to the friends that like me, say, yeah, a jump ball, you guys got a chance, Everybody else, you guys stink. But now there's no way we can lose this game, right? And I think I saw a couple of headlines this morning. I still read papers. I saw a couple of headlines like, just it's just too easy for everybody to say it's just going to happen. It doesn't just happen in sports. So to me, all 3 of these things are good. They're unique, and they're all good things for us to learn from. And they're good things we'll take from all of them. And really, the key is what do we learn, and what do we demonstrate? Because during the course of the season, you got to face all that stuff. You're going to be underdogs. You're going to be on the road. And then you're going to be again, playing against a team, quote unquote, that you're supposed to beat. And somehow, some way, you got to stay focused and improve. And that's really probably the biggest thing I think all of us as coaches are concerned about. How can we grow? How can we improve? Hopefully, we'll grow from this experience, and we should.
Speaking of growth, you look at somebody like Riley Moss, and a couple of years ago, he had a really tough experience as a true freshman at Purdue, and that's enough to sink anybody if it happened.
Yep.
Well, he grew from it. He had maybe a tough first half, or at least a series there, but it didn't seem to bother him. What kind of growth has he made, and how has that helped your defense?
Yeah, I think that's illustrative of the reason I've enjoyed this team so much. I don't know how good we are. We'll figure that out 3 months from now, but I don't know how good we are. But I like the guys we work with, and that's a great example. And that, guys like Ivory, guys like Riley, they're going to fight through that stuff. They'll work through it. They realize this is all part of the deal. And you're going to get caught maybe doing some things, or maybe looking where you shouldn't look, or that type of thing. And when you do, you pay for it. But quality people learn from their experiences, and got a lot of guys on our team that are like that. And I'll just name 2 guys that are veteran guys that have gone through the hard times, and also so they got a little bit more confidence to come back from those things. But that's part of this experience for everybody, quite frankly. Yep.
Is them knowing that you're not going to, punish them or stick them in a corner part of them succeeding?
Not everybody. Who are we talking about? Yeah. So.
The 2 guys that have been mentioned.
Yeah.
They're going to be all right, and you pretty much said so. Is that because they know that they have your trust?
They got resumes. So both those players have been in our program. We know them, really know them, and we got faith in them. And so, younger guys, you got to handle a little differently sometimes. Guys that are a little bit experienced, and the biggest thing I worry about with younger guys is just scar tissue. Can they handle, getting a little of that, because that's part of life too. So, you might be a little bit more careful while bringing them back. But those guys, I know they've prepared. I know they've done the work they need to do. And if something bad happens, it's not because they weren't taking it seriously enough. And that's, all players earn that trust with coaches. And not just me, everybody on our staff. We all feel that way. But, those guys they've proven it year in and year out. They really have.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone.